What is up, people? It's your boy, it's Coach Amir. Today we're going to talk a little bit about rope flow, right? And we're going to talk about, how to get out of a rut. We all get into those things from time to time, whether you're brand new to the practice of rope flow or whether you've been at it for a while, right? You just find yourself kind of not progressing, kind of spinning your wheels, kind of stuck in one of those ruts. So today we got 5, tips, right? Suggestions that you can use to help you kind of reignite the flame, okay? Get back into the groove, okay? And really, it's something that we all need from time to time. I know, myself included, right? So for one, the first thing I want to suggest is that whether you're a beginner or not, it's really easy to get stuck kind of looking into the shiny object syndrome, right? But you really want to just pick 1 or 2 moves or concepts or whatever you're focusing on at a given time and just kind of get into the groove of those things, right? Don't really try to go chase this and chase that. You wind up getting mediocre at a whole bunch of stuff as opposed to getting really good at the things that you really value. So for example, even as a beginner, you might want to just work on your figure of 8s, right? Because you can do any movement with the variety, right? You can have this notion of you can get your hands higher or lower, right? You can get into the groove with your whole body. You can use your footwork to kind of move back and forth. So all these things that you can do, same thing with matadors, beginner moves, and it's the same thing with sneaks or any other move that you might want to work on. There's different ways to approach them. And once you start getting into them a little bit more in depth, you can really find a lot more about not only the movement pattern, but your own human body, right? Your own physical being. So when you try that method, it's a great way to kind of re-energize yourself because you start to see all these little epiphanies that you otherwise kind of just blew right by when you were looking for the next big shiny object, okay? And similarly to that, tip number 2 is try to incorporate things like level changes, right? You want to use your whole body, right? So you want to make sure, of course, you're using your underhand works and your overhand work, your right and your left hands, right? Your right and left sides. But also, I like to say level changes are important. So for example, level changes mean a couple things to me. One is you might say, okay, well, I'm going to incorporate some crouching movements, right? I'm going to get level changes with the height of my hips as I go into my flows, right? So that's one method of level change, right? Another method that you can use is changing the elevation of your hands. You can do both, right? Right now, right? I'm doing both. Or you can do one or the other. But those things actually get your whole body involved, right? You get your lower half, your upper half, your right and left sides involved. And just doing that in and of itself is a big way to kind of bring back some juice, right? And on top of that, when you get your lower half involved, you also have the ability to kind of do locomotive moves, right? So you can walk with your moves, right? Learn how to coordinate the timing of a walk. You can learn how to coordinate the timing of lateral movements, right? All these things you can do along with your rope flow. And it's just another way to kind of get your mind and body to connect with one another and then connect with this rope at the same time to even sweeten the pot a little bit. Another thing that I want to suggest is tip number 3. It's a great one, and it is get yourself a quality rope flow coach, right? And I know it sounds like that might be self-serving because I am a rope flow coach myself and I have, my own courses that you can try out. Of course, the links for those are in the description if you want to try our free rope flow essentials course to get started with the beginner movements, or, our Art of Flow course where we help hundreds of students kind of learn how to really elevate their flow game with a structured approach. But actually, I'm not being self-serving, I promise you, because I am not the only rope flow coach out there. There are a number of really good quality rope flow coaches, and I promise you, I'm happy if you find one that's not me, just as happy as I am if you find one that is me, okay? Because the real key is to get your butt moving. And rope flow is just a vehicle for that as far as I'm concerned, and it's a really excellent vehicle for that. But to get moving in a way that is fun is important. And if you're getting into a rut, then it's not fun anymore. So you want to find someone that can give you feedback and pointers on improvement and encouragement and all those things as any great coach would do. So you can check out other folks like Tim over at Wave the Rope. You got Alpaca is one of the outstanding rope flow coaches. You've got Ed Troise. You got a number of rope flow coaches. I don't want to start naming names because I'm gonna forget some people. But don't. If my style is not your cup of tea, that is fine. That's perfectly fine. But definitely want to look into getting some quality rope flow coaching if you're stuck in a rut or just having a hard time learning some of the moves and really getting into the groove and feeling your rope flow practice the way you expect it to. Okay, so what was that? Tip number 3? All right, so now tip number 4 is try flowing in the dark. Okay, what does that mean? Well, this is something we're doing in my community, right? We've got a monthly challenge that we do, and I've challenged them for this month of October to blindfold themselves. Close your eyes, right? And when you close your eyes and you find that you start doing your rope flow, the same moves you do when your eyes are open, feels a lot different, okay? And not only does it feel different, it's a better way for you to really build on your proprioception, which, you know, allows you to understand where your body is in space. And not only that, importantly, it also lets you get to the point where you know where the rope is in space. You envision that rope, okay? With your eyes closed, you can do all the same moves that you did before. And especially when you start adding in some turns and footwork, right? It incorporates an additional level of balance, right? Involvement, because your eyes are closed and your vision is a big part of your balance in the world. But also, in order to flow, you got to really know, either consciously or subconsciously, where that rope is and where your body is precisely at all points in time. And when you close your eyes, you're kind of forcing yourself to really get into that groove and figure it out. Find out where is that rope. And I promise you, even as a beginner, this is a perfect thing. You can do the same thing with just a figure of 8, but you'll feel a lot more of that energy from the rope, right? Matador here, all these beginner moves, they work exactly the same when you close your eyes. And once you can learn how to turn around, okay, once you understand the cardinal laws, it goes a long way. So before I get dizzy or something with trying to show you, just give it a try. I promise you, for most people that I've worked with that have tried this particular method, they always come back and say, man, that's great. And I love it. I don't know, I got away from doing it for a while, but more recently I've gotten back to it. And in fact, that brings me to the last tip, right? Be creative, right? Find the joyfulness and playfulness in your flow. And one way to do that is to pick up things that are not necessarily brand new movement patterns and all that, but you might pick up what we call tricks, right? And it's not just tricks, because I used to think, oh, tricks, who needs that? But tricks are things like hand flips, right? Where you kind of, and this is a one-handed hand flip I was trying to show you here, but where you kind of use the rope and let it go around your hand, right? Or you can have things like wraps. And even as a beginner, you can learn these things where you take a limb of yourself, right? An arm, right? And you can let it wrap around your body. And that's just a fun little thing to play with. And I mean, you can learn some of these things. We teach them in our Art of Flow course, but you can learn them in a number of different ways. There's 1,000 different ways to use wraps on your body. I'm not gonna show you all of them here, but hand flips too. Like you can see, I can use the flip of my hand there and there. I mean, when you do these things, it adds an element of playfulness and fun and joy to your rope flow practice. So you wind up pretty much feeling like a kid again, actually. I literally was out today, and I'm probably gonna get in trouble with one of my students, Belinda, who told me to stop playing around and listen to my shoulder. I was out today, I said, I'm gonna go spend 5 or 10 minutes playing around with some of these thumb flips here, right? And so I was out doing these thumb flips like this, playing with them today, and it turned into this 45-minute session or something like that, and my shoulder was kind of like a little cranky about it. She said, stop doing it. And so here I am recording a YouTube video, so don't get mad at me, Belinda, but it's a good thing. The community is so supportive, right? It's like, you know, we have these weekly meetups on Fridays, we have a great time, and it's like, you know, sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, right? And they're always glad you came. So that's kind of what we got going on over in my community. So I'm very pleased with that, and it's nice that people give a damn about old coach's shoulder, but I feel better now, and so I'm just here to record this video. Anyway, I hope that you take that into consideration. Play around, even as a beginner, you can learn some of these tricks, right? These hand flips, these wraps around your arms or your body, and that will give you an added dimension to your flow that will help you kind of rekindle that, that energy, that spark, if you've gotten into a bit of a rut. And then once you play with those things, of course, you add them to your, for example, if you got a matador, if you're a beginner, maybe the only thing you know how to do is a matador, but now you can learn how to do a thumb flip, right, with your matador. And of course, flips are something that you practice where you can do a hand flip like that, flip over the back of your hand or over the thumb part of your hand like this. So these things are things you add to your existing movement pattern. So you don't really need to learn a whole new movement pattern. You just take a little trick here and there and spice things up for yourself. So that's it for today. Hopefully that will help you if you've been finding yourself in a little bit of a, either I can't get started or I've gotten started and I've gotten stuck somewhere. Try a few of these things. Hell, I don't care. Try them all, right? Get a coach and record yourself doing some level changes and some hand flips with the level changes, right? And all three of them, and with your eyes closed, all at the same time. Do them all at the same time, for that matter, if you really want to juice things back up. We'll see you in the next video.